Welcome, welcome everyone. This is Paul Morris, partner in Equip Global, and we're back with another episode of the Equip Show. Today, it is my great pleasure to introduce Jamie Harpster, founder and executive director of Plain Wellness. And I have been really looking forward to this episode because of what Plain Wellness is doing, and that's Plain Plane. I'm going to let Jamie explain exactly what that means. Let's get into it. Jamie, welcome to the Equip Show.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Very good. Well, let's just dive right into it. Why don't you tell us about Plain Wellness and what inspired you to create this organization, and maybe just like a sort of a high level 30-second sort of take on what the vision that you have, what you're doing, and how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start at the beginning then. I've been working in the mental health field since about 2014. I've been passionate about mental health my entire life, though. When I bought my house in 2018, I discovered woodworking and how peaceful it was for me. It was my break from the mental health field, which isn't an easy field, and I fell in love with it. So I had been thinking for a while, how can I combine those two passions? I started a YouTube channel, realized that other people experience the same thing that I do, that woodworking is healing and it is peaceful. And one night, 2 a.m., couldn't sleep. Light bulb went off in my brain that just said, what happens if we give out free woodworking courses? And I launched it. I think maybe the next day I launched it, or that following week I launched it. So what we do is we offer free woodworking courses for adults and veterans with a mental health diagnosis or physical disability. And we also accept VA disability ratings. Our goal is to make learning woodworking more accessible because we want students to experience more peace, joy, and accomplishment in the shop. And prior to Plain Wellness, the only options they had was YouTube, where you don't get any immediate feedback, or super expensive woodworking courses that you have to travel to. So our courses can be virtual. Again, anybody with a diagnosis, they just sign up and they can have one-on-one instruction or group instruction and build that community together.
That's really fantastic. Now, you said something kind of right at the outset that I wanted to explore a little further.
Okay.
You said that, you work in the mental health field. I mean, we all know how incredibly demanding and thankless that field is, but so critical,
Yep.
so critical. And that you found a real, is it fair to say that woodworking became an outlet for you to be able to get away from your day-to-day work,
Yep.
sort of you give yourself rest and a recharge? And is that because woodworking is so tactile?
It hits all the senses. Well, maybe not taste, but other than that, it hits all of the senses. And really, it's for many people, the woodworking shop becomes their safe space. It becomes their retreat because just anybody that's used any kind of woodworking tool, the sounds, the sound of a hand plane taking a shaving, the feel of a chisel chopping through wood, or the sawdust flying when you make saw cuts. It's just, I don't like saying this, but there's something magical about it that I've never really experienced before. And it's so powerful that we've had many veteran students actually tell us that it saved their lives because a lot of times they leave the military and they're just kind of dropped and says, okay, go about your life and have fun. And then they discovered woodworking and it turned their whole life around because they finally were able to experience the peace that they haven't been able to feel since prior to joining the military. So there is just something magical about it that maybe only woodworkers understand.
Well, I wonder if, that's really so interesting. You said it hits like all of the senses, and I wonder if there's something to that, where all of your senses get engaged in this very tactile project, or, you're just working with a piece of wood, and then all of a sudden, right, this piece of wood, and then it becomes something.
And that's accomplishment.
Right.
Because a lot of people, when they have a diagnosis or a disability, and I don't want to stereotype across everybody, but a lot of times they feel unsuccessful in life because they have something out of their control that is hindering their life. But when they come into the wood shop and they can pick up their tool and make something and look at it and say, wow, I made that. It just
Right.
overwhelms you with a sense of accomplishment that more and more people need in this world. And I'll note on that too that we are not an alternative to mental health treatment. We are an
Right.
addition to mental health treatment. I still fully believe that everybody needs a therapist, everybody needs a psychiatrist, but outside of those times, outside of those appointments, you need to have a hobby. And for us, that's woodworking.
Right. Because it can activate your senses are activated. You can work through, it's not just all building up inside of you.
Yep.
Oh, that's really, really
Yep.
wonderful. So give us, tell us a little bit or give us a picture of kind of day to day. What does your programming look like?
Yeah.
What if, if I sign up for a class, what does that look like? What does it feel like?
Yeah. So I can't say that it's every day, but we have multiple courses throughout the month.
Sure.
And they're arranged for skills. So entry level to advanced, we pretty much have everything across the board. It can be something as simple as how to sharpen a tool to building stools. We've done that also. But when you join the course, you're not only just going to learn woodworking, you're joining the community. And we know that it's virtual, but we really do try to get people involved. We'll go around and do show and tell. Show us what you're working on. How's your progress coming along? We have people ask questions. So you're getting to trade that isolation that can also come with a diagnosis or disability for the community, even if it's virtual, even if it's for a short time. But then also we have some phenomenal teachers, little biased, but we do have phenomenal teachers that are going to teach you the skills you need. I actually just received feedback the other day. We had a student take a mortise and tenon course, and I think it was like a week later, he tried to cut a mortise and tenon again on his own after the class. And he reached out and said, just thank you so much for that course because I now feel the accomplishment. I'm able to complete this task because I was taught. Even though I've tried many times before from YouTube videos, it didn't sink in until you get that direct instruction. So you're getting direct instruction and community. And I can't even tell you how many courses a month. I think in March, we have 4 courses on the same day. So it's,
Wow.
there's a lot of them.
So what are some of, what are some of the courses or the events that you're doing? So it sounds to me this isn't something that you're not doing everyday program, day-to-day programming.
Not
It's
yet.
not yet, right?
Yeah.
So you're growing this organization, beginning to scale. So, it sounds to me there's a wide range of courses that I could do in a month. Do you do other events as well?
We do.
And are those virtual or in person or some kind of a mix of both?
Yeah, so I'd say most of our courses right now are virtual. I'd say probably 80% of them are virtual. We do have some in-person locations that people can travel to, but we also we have an annual Hand Tool Haven event that serves as our big fundraising event because if you know
Okay.
nonprofits, they have it's called a gala. You get all fancy in your suit and tie and ladies dress up in dresses and it's this big event, but most of us aren't fancy. So instead of us hosting a gala, we host a hand tool woodworking event where we have a whole bunch of vendors come out. We have demonstrators that will come out and teach the community whatever they want to work on. And then we also have raffles and auctions, and that piece serves as the fundraising part for us. But it is still about getting the community together. There's not many events anymore. There used to be a lot. I think COVID crushed a lot of those, but we want to bring them back, and we want to bring back a big one on the East Coast.
Right. That's great. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Honestly, it sounds like a lot more fun than a gala.
It is.
I'll be honest.
I've been to a gala. It is. The food is better too.
Right.
We'll have like a nice barbecue truck or something like that versus that you have to be fancy and cut with the food.
Right. Yes. Oh yeah. I've been to several of those events. Yeah. I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something, Jamie. So tell me what, as a youth, you kind of your organization is kind of at the beginning of its journey. What's the big challenge that you're facing right now?
I'm not a fan of this question. I'll be honest with you. I've had to answer many times before. And if anybody knows nonprofits, the challenge changes over time.
Sure.
The current challenge that we're facing right now is the fact that I still have a full-time job that limits my time because I'm still a volunteer for the organization. So for example, there's woodworking events that we would like to go to. I can't always take time off of work or go unpaid to take that time off of work. So that is something that's really limiting us right now. But on that note, I don't want that to reflect poorly because we have an amazing team that's growing every day that's helping me take some things off my shoulders so I can still work the job that pays my bills and pursue this dream.
Sure. Well, and I don't think that that's I definitely understand your reticence in answering that question, but I think the way that you have answered this, and I wish that other sort of early nonprofits would have a similar view, is that challenge, you've said it exactly, challenges change over time. And just because you are at this moment,
Yep.
right, at in your journey, doesn't mean that that won't change. And it sounds to me like you have a very clear and thoughtful plan of how to scale,
Yep.
rather than this urgent feeling of, oh my God, we've got to scale, or else.
Yeah, no. And that's, I'll be honest with you. I am diagnosed with ADHD. That's part of how woodworking has helped me.
Hmm.
And I used to very much be that way. I used to
Hmm.
be, it's got to happen now or I'm over it. And that's not
Right.
how it is with this. That's not how it is with this dream. And that's something that woodworking has helped me see, that this is such an important mission that if it takes time, it takes time. Technically,
Right.
with our funding, I could be full time right now, but I don't want us to be CEO broke. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's a
so we
really
want
good
to make
point.
sure, yeah, we want to make sure the organization is in a good place. And then when it is in a good place that it can sustain itself and afford me, then okay. But
Hmm.
until then, the students that I hear from, that's what keeps me motivated. That's what makes it all worth it.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, then, so then the flip side of that question, what's the big challenge? What what is success? And I think you've talked about this. You've started to
Yep.
talk about this, but maybe let's get into this a little bit more intentionally. What is success looking like?
I have two different things. I have
Okay.
two different things for success. So I have the macro view of success and I have the micro view of success. The macro is I want plain wellness everywhere.
Hmm.
I want retreat facilities. I want in person locations throughout the nation, if not throughout the world, because we have already expanded into the world.
Hmm.
But on the micro level, we see success almost every single day, if not every day. It's the student stories that we get back saying, your course really helped me, or because of your course, we were able to do this, or, I haven't been able to connect with other people in the woodworking community, but through your courses, we've been able to. So I know
Yeah.
whenever we do interviews and podcasts, it's always the big numbers, it's the big things going on, but I never want us to lose sight that it is about those individual students. That is success. And I can already say that our mission's been successful. We are
Sure.
reaching those individual students and we'll continue doing so. The bigger we get, it still just means we're able to help more individuals.
More individuals, right? And more individuals on whatever path that they are on.
Yep.
Um, okay, so kind of adjacent to success, I have to know what's like the wildest project that you have seen created in one of your classes, or like most interesting project.
James Wright. James Wright is if anybody knows woodworking, he is Wood by Wright on YouTube. He had a class that was how to make a whistle.
Okay.
And I would have never, ever, and I've seen wooden whistles before. I mean, as a kid, I probably had them. I would have never thought about making a whistle. But he
Uh-huh.
pitched the idea, he taught the course, and everybody was able to make whistles. And I just thought that was cool. Whether
That's
they're making them for their kid or themselves, maybe they're a big kid, that's okay. Just to be able to say that
yeah.
you made a whistle that makes noise is really cool.
That sounds, I mean, honestly, that does
Right.
sound really cool.
I'm
I
sad
have,
that I didn't get to take it. I think I was at a woodworking something. I didn't get to attend it, but
yeah.
hopefully he'll teach it again so I can.
Yeah, well, that's great. That is
Yeah.
great. So what is, let's get a little bit more granular here. You're doing these courses, you're doing classes, it's a mix of in-person, online.
Yep.
You have one event that has a fundraising component. So what is your funding model? What does that look like? What does the funding model look like for Plain Wellness at this moment?
Yeah. So right now we currently have a mix of like the makers, what is it? Market makers, and we have the heartfelt connector, because we really do have a broad audience of
Mhm.
individuals that we serve. And it can be anything from altruism to self-interest to everything in the middle. Whether it's you want to take the course because you want to learn yourself, or you have a friend or a family member that has a diagnosis or disability, and that's why you're supporting. And the best
Right.
example that I have for this is if you don't have a diagnosis, you can take our courses. You can pay to attend our courses. You're getting something out of that, but at the same time, that money is making it possible for the mission students to take the courses.
Great.
So whether you're doing it for purely self-interest, you're still helping somebody out, or If you're donating, you're helping the mission students because maybe you have friends that have a diagnosis. So
Sure.
it really is a mix. Courses is one of our revenue streams. Hand Tool Haven, our events are one of our revenue streams. We also have a merchandise line that we're hoping to expand this year to start offering more plain wellness merchandise. Donations, of course, and then actually just last week, I think it was, we're starting to work with a grant writer so we can hopefully start tapping into grants because we really haven't done that yet.
Sure. And and what I'm hearing, and I think that this is so important, especially for early stage nonprofits, but nonprofits of any size, but very early on, being able to do something where you're able to diversify your revenue,
very important,
and still fulfill your mission, right? Be able to deliver on that. I love this idea where, I could, if I was interested in woodworking, I could sign up for that.
Yep.
The fee that I pay enables access for someone else, right?
Absolutely.
So that there isn't a barrier in access if this is something that's really truly going to help someone. Yeah,
Yes.
that's really fantastic and so smart to get that set up early on.
Yes.
Rather than try to try to self-fund or just, a small group of people, but really, really looking at your whole sort of field and saying,
Absolutely.
where can we create revenue opportunities?
Yep. Well, and also too, if I can add on to that, because our main mission is the individuals with a diagnosis or disability.
Sure.
But people without a diagnosis, we don't want to alienate them because we really are the first program of our kind. There hasn't been anything like plain wellness. So why would we say, well, you don't have a diagnosis, so you're not invited?
Right.
So what we do is with the virtual courses, virtual courses, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to take time off of work. They're affordable. So if you don't have a diagnosis, you can still participate. Our in-person classes, we're trying to set up in-person locations everywhere. Right now we have 4 or 5, and this year I'm hoping to add 3 more. So again, if you don't have a diagnosis, you can pay to attend them, but hopefully there's somewhere close to you that you can go to. So it's opening up the doors for woodworking or the learning opportunities that people have for woodworking, because even if you don't have a diagnosis, you can still improve your mental wellness.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Okay, so I don't know, if there's like a wooden sphere nearby or a crystal ball. Probably not a crystal ball. I mean, you're in a wood shop. You probably don't want glass around.
Here, we'll have the sawdust as man glitter.
Okay, so if you look into that, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah. The real dream or the dream?
You know what? I'm
Stay
curious.
Stay grounded or go for it.
You know what? I think that you have to go for it. But why, you talked about a macro, sort of the macro goal, micro goals, which very smart to have because those two things are linked.
Yes, they are.
Let's do the same, but let's flip it. Let's start with that kind of your real grounded goal vision for the next 3 to 5 years.
Perfect.
But then let's zoom that out to kind of what your, the wild goal.
Yes. Yeah. That works. So in 5 years, I'm hoping to have our first plain wellness retreat facility. And what that is it's where we have our own location. Because right now the satellite locations are other teachers' shops. We want to have our own, where students would come out to us to take courses. We want to build some mini cabins so they can stay on site with us to save that lodging fee. Then we also want to, when courses aren't happening, open that up as a makerspace for the community to use. We also want to build a museum to educate the community on woodworking tools. And we want to build an event center so we can host Hand Tool Haven, demonstrators, and other events right there in-house. And the whole idea is to really still bring the community together. We want them to stay on site with us. We can have meals together, have campfires together. You're learning at the same time. Let's check out the museum together and just bring everybody together. Because woodworkers, most of the time you're alone in your shop. I can't tell you the last time I had a friend come over and build something with me. So being able to do that somewhere and spend time with those other people is very important, not only for your mental wellness, but for woodworking itself. So that would be the short term. I do think we can get that within 5 years.
Yeah, it sounds very reasonable. And I'm very interested just to pause here for a second and talk a little bit about bringing people together, right? You said that usually, you're doing woodworking, you're alone in your shop or your own space. Now, your goal is to bring people together, not only um, to spend time together, to be able to interact. But I would imagine that there's also this opportunity to do peer learning and peer support in that moment. We're in a class together, we're sitting next to one another. I'm struggling with something. You can help,
Yep.
and now we're both engaged
Absolutely.
in this supportive moment, and we're preserving the craft.
Exactly. That's
Okay,
exactly it. Yeah,
interesting.
because I mean, when I'm alone in my shop and there's something that I don't know how to do, I have to go to YouTube.
Hmm.
I have to look it up on YouTube because there's nobody here to
Right,
help figure it out, you know? And
right.
everybody, when it comes to woodworking, 99% of woodworking is preference. Do you like this tool? Do you like that tool? Do you cut your joint this way? Do you cut it that way? So everybody has different styles and different techniques. And it's
Hmm.
good to have everybody share the knowledge. So you're
Hmm.
always constantly learning something too, because that's also good for your mental wellness.
Right, right. Okay. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see, and I would imagine you could almost, this retreat center, you could make it your own, like, just, it's a big project
Yep.
where your people come together, and just like there's a barn raising,
Yep.
people coming together to build
We would love to do that.
a whole
We would
retreat.
love to.
How
Yeah.
interesting. How
Yes, we would.
interesting.
So initially the goal, and I'll be honest with you, initially the goal was to host timber framing classes. Do you know what timber framing is? Where they use the big beams and it's joinery and they put
Okay,
everything together and raise it up. So
sure.
initially that was our goal. And we started getting quotes on that, and it was going to cost us like $60,000 per cabin for just the frame. That doesn't
Hmm.
include the walls, that doesn't include the roof, electrical, nothing. So we are kind of going back to the idea of stick building, which is the traditional 2x4s, but I still don't see why we can't have students help us. So it's a retreat facility for students, built by students.
Right. So there's it's a very sort of hands-on
Yep.
learning lab
Yep.
building.
The
Yeah, I
the
can see that.
furniture. The furniture. I know for sure I want students to build the furniture.
Yeah,
So when we're thinking we need dressers for the cabins, let's host a course on building dressers. Make sure everybody knows we're keeping the dressers. You don't keep the dressers. And then we can put them in the cabins or even benches for outside. I mean, there's so many different
right,
Adirondack chairs around the fire pit, and have students build all of those through our courses where they're connecting
right,
with others and learning.
right, right. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. It
It
sounds
is.
like a lot of fun.
I'm
Okay.
excited.
So that's the grounded,
Yep.
reachable goal vision for the short term. What's the big crazy
Yeah.
thing,
Yes. Yeah. If I had a donor contact me tomorrow and offer me like $50 million, something
uh,
insane, I would
okay.
build that exact retreat facility throughout the nation.
Okay.
That
So
way people don't have
multiple
to travel
sites,
very far. Multiple. Yep.
multiple sites so that people, again, going back to this idea of access, not of lowering barriers to entry, people wouldn't have to travel. They could
Exactly.
be somewhere in their region, maybe within a couple of hours.
And they stay on site. So my goal is to try to get it to where there's a place everywhere that you don't have to fly. And it's
Hmm.
somewhere that you can drive to. We'll have a cabin for you to stay in. So all
Right.
you have to do is get there, and then there's a cabin for you. We'd have meals together, so we'd be providing food. So big, big, big dream. I want that retreat facility everywhere.
Okay. Doesn't seem that unreasonable. That doesn't seem that
No, no,
crazy to me. I mean, personally,
I
but
know. Give me,
yeah, I
let's
can
say
see.
30 years. In
I
30
love
years.
that. Yeah, I mean, I love that idea, and I love the idea of making it something where you could drive to it, so it's probably within 3-4 hours.
Yep.
You're able to stay on site, all inclusive, whatever. Yeah,
Exactly.
okay,
Yep.
I got it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, hopefully someone's listening, someone will be listening to this, and
Yeah.
they'll
I
be like,
said
wow, I
50.
want to do that
50
too.
million. Yep. 50 million. Just call me.
So, this has been really fantastic. So if 50 million is the lead gift that you're looking for, maybe if we kind of dial it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's dial it down a little bit. How do you think can the public support you the most?
Yeah.
In
Right now
this?
it is. Yep, right now it is financially, because again, that's something that changes over time. For a while there, it was I needed volunteers. Right now it's financially. Because our goal this year is to put a down payment on a piece of land to start building that retreat facility. We have some properties in mind that we're looking at, but still our goal is to get a down payment on that property this year so we can start building or modifying the workshop. There's already a building next year.
Okay. Okay. And then last question, kind of similar in how people can support you. How do people get in touch? Right? How can they, if someone is feeling like, wow, this is exactly what I want to be doing, this is what I need to be doing,
Yep.
or I know someone that this would be incredibly helpful for, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So my email, get ready to write.
Okay.
My email is Jamie, Jamie, at Plain Wellness, Plane, wellness.org. I can also give you my phone number. Just know I still have that full-time job. I can't always answer the phone. So really email is the best way to
Yes.
get a hold of me
Okay.
quick. And I never
And
remember the number. So it's 724-902-8525.
Fantastic. And people, of course, can visit your website and learn more about you there.
Yep. www.planewellness.org. Plane. You said it
PLN.
perfect the first time you introduced us to. I was like, yes, you said it.
Well, Jamie, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. This has been really phenomenal. This is what an exciting and interesting way of helping people navigate their mental health and just find something very tactile, right? In a very content and screen driven world, finding something really tactile to do and to, like you said, to be able to accomplish.
Yes.
Right. I think that is so important and so fascinating to me with what you're doing, is that being able to take something and turn it into something else
Yep.
yourself.
Absolutely. It's
I
like a
is incredibly gratifying.
yeah, it's like an archaic thought now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you
Yeah.
want something, you buy it from IKEA or it's everything's on the phone. So it's connecting us back to our roots when people used to have to do this for a living. And there's
Yeah.
something amazing about that.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, again, thank you, Jamie,
you.
for your time today. Everyone, you can reach out to Plain Wellness, Plane, wellness.org. We will include ways to get a hold of Jamie and the team there in the show notes, I am sure. And yeah, best of luck to you, and thanks again.
Thank you.
You bet. All right.